Oh, man. Welcome back to the gray space.
Yes, sir. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment if you're rocking with the content. Now, we got a special guest in the building.
Yeah, we do.
As we always say, he's the most recent.
So he's the most special.
He's the most special. You know
That's
what
right.
I'm saying?
Yep.
We got a producer. We got a radio personality. On hiatus Twitch streamer. And much more. We're going to get into all of that. Mind spit. We're going to get into all of that. We got RTC Shogun in the building.
Oh, what's happening? What's going on?
Welcome in the building.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. I love doing this type of stuff. So
Yeah,
Nice.
appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for driving to SoCal, Arizona.
Yeah, no kidding.
as we call it. Let's get into it, man, because you've got quite a story.
Yeah, I'm an old man, so I got all sorts of stories.
Yeah.
We like old stories, man. We love them, man. Yep.
I watched the Mind Spit documentary,
Yeah.
and that was extremely intriguing, and we're gonna jump to that in a little bit. But kind of tell us how you got into music, got into the radio thing. Like, kind of what was your start into the game?
Well, growing up, I was always a musician, so I always played guitar, and bass, and that's kind of what we did. We played around in bands. I didn't really get into, I listened to hip hop, but I really never thought of it as a medium that I could get into, just because mainly, the exposure I had to it. I think is where I grew up. It was like everyone was listening to rock music. It was that sort of thing. There wasn't that much exposure to it. But once I did kind of branch out, I just fell in love with it. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. And then the stuff I first started listening to growing up out here in AZ, it's you get that West Coast vibe. It's, it was Ice Cube, Dre, that sort of stuff.
Right.
Chronic, that's the stuff that I was growing up on and
Snoop,
listening
all
to.
that.
Yeah. So I really, I was like, okay, this is dope. And I had some other friends that they were getting into it, and they were like, we picked up a 4-track microphone and we had a little Casio Michael Jackson keyboard. We're like, man, we can do this.
Nice.
I mean, we're musicians. Why can't we do this? So that's kind of how it started with our little crew in high school, doing that probably like sophomore, junior year.
Okay.
Did you have a rock band then?
Yeah, well,
Just
I
out
mean,
of
we were just
curiosity?
garage bands. We would play house parties or church functions, stuff like that.
Okay.
It was I always had dreams of being a rock star. That was always my thing. Is dreams of being a rock star.
Right.
I still do.
Who doesn't though? I mean, but you say guitar and bass?
Yeah.
Those are your jams?
Yeah, those were my main thing. I ended up playing bass more just because no one played bass.
Right.
I don't know why, man. That is such a crucial instrument to me.
It is.
I mean,
the guitar's sexy, bro. Like, you grow up seeing the guitar player, bro.
yeah, but I mean,
The bass player's just in the back.
Right.
but bass
He's
playing
just
is
jamming out by
so
himself
dope,
in the
though.
back.
Yeah,
It is,
bass
it is.
playing is, I don't know. It carries that music.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too. So I love playing it. But yeah, so we had our little garage bands and stuff, and it all just kind of it's all music. We loved all sorts of music. We were pretty eclectic at the time. With the stuff we listened to. So.
Nice.
So when you started getting into hip hop, did you find yourself kind of blending the rock element of your band into the hip hop? Like, were you fusing a little bit of rock into what you were doing when you started out?
Well, it was very rudimentary. Like I said, we had a little Casio keyboard,
Right.
So we were trying to mimic some of the stuff we were listening to, but the funny thing is, it's like we didn't know a lot of that old classic stuff with samples, So it's like we're trying to mimic stuff on the keyboards, like the stuff isn't sounding like what we want. It's like not like it would anyways because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Right.
But
So when did you start knowing what you were doing?
Probably when technology started coming into play a little more. Like my senior year, like I started I got a computer, started learning about MIDI, and I got my first keyboard that was actually a professional keyboard. I don't remember if it was my junior or senior year. I asked my grandma for Christmas for Lisa's keyboard, and I got that. I was like, oh man, I got a little hip hop expansion card for it.
Oh,
Nice, I was like,
nice.
this is it. This is
Right.
we got it now. And then not realizing, there's no sequencer on this thing. So we would literally, me and another buddy of mine, like he would, like, we would both sit on like the drum pattern. One of us would play a hi-hat for 4 minutes while the other one was doing the kick and the snare, recording on the 4-track for 4 minutes, just sitting there on one track of the 4-track, and then we'd do a little melody line on another one. Then we'd have 2 tracks for the vocals, So it was, like I said, like,
That's like cutting a tape or something.
Yeah, for sure.
so that's how we were doing it. And then when, I found out about MIDI and syncing things up, I got a little old Boss 202 drum machine. It wasn't the little sampler one, it was the drum machine. And it had, you could sync one channel. So it's got all these drums on it. We program our drums, and we can sync up the keyboard to have one little synth line or something like that. And it also had bass on it, so we could do the bass. And it was like, that's when we started kind of stepping up. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, I was rapping at the time, embarrassing,
Okay.
And that's when I started gravitating towards the production element of, like, I like working with the 4-track. I like syncing up these keyboards. I like doing all this. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm just gonna play this background role and do this.
Okay.
Did you notice it yourself that you weren't a good rapper, or did somebody?
No, I knew I wasn't a good rapper. Like, I would cringe and listen to some of that stuff. Yeah, my homie Jason, who we used to do stuff, who I came up with, he still has all of our old stuff. So I listened to some of it. I'm like, oh God, man, I can't believe it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like that, So. Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. So it's a good thing I stepped back.
Right.
But you were rapping over your beats, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're doing all this.
Just started giving them to other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like my senior years when I really started getting equipment and got turntables. I started DJing, doing house parties and stuff. And then with the computer, we were able to start recording on the computer. I mean, this was back in like 98, 99. So we could only do so much with what we had. And obviously I was poor.
What was your first DAW?
My first one was Cakewalk.
Okay.
I got a Cakewalk. I think it came free.
Cakewalk was free.
Card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with the sound card and the computer, I had Cakewalk, and then I ended up getting Logic for it was another Christmas thing. My parents got me Logic, and then I started using Logic. It was like
Logic is a dope program.
Yeah,
and it's pretty hard
even
too.
then, because back then, I mean, obviously you'd want Pro Tools, but
yeah, but you got to think the both of those, like either Pro Tools or Logic, are like pretty much the go-tos.
Yeah, because that was even version 3, which was, that was when VSTs first started coming out, where you first started having those software synths. And I feel like they were the pioneers of, like, okay, they give you like 3 or 4 synths. There was a sampler in there.
Yeah, there was.
And because that's the way my mind, I just like, learned everything about that. And that's where I was able to expand things using that.
If a lot of people talk about Pro Tools, but if you really learn how to work with Logic, it's crazy. Like, because Pro Tools is it has a kind of an easy setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can learn it pretty quickly. Like, if you can learn Logic, you could do any goddamn DAW that's out there in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Seriously.
And now I don't use it anymore, but like for a while there recently, there was like a 6-month free or 3 months or something like that. I dived into it. I was like, man, they've really done a lot with this.
Yeah, they've done a ton.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, because even like Pro Tools is geared towards professional studio, so it's set up more like a tape track. You're a blank slate, and you're recording drums, guitars, bass. I mean, obviously they have their synths and plugins and stuff,
right?
And a lot of people do use it to produce. I know like Jake One, like that's what he uses to produce and stuff like that. But I can't imagine trying to produce beats with Pro Tools.
Yeah,
it's just too much.
Yeah, it is too much. It's not really meant for, like, you can do it in there, but it's really kind of not. meant for that.
Exactly.
You know?
Especially now when you have like Ableton and you have Logic and even GarageBand now, where you get that good recording functions and all the MIDI VST capability.
Yeah, that's very true. So, junior, senior year, getting out of high school, you're making beats. Now, what's going on? You're starting to form a group. You're starting to get out there, starting to get known a little bit.
So before I graduated high school, you start looking at colleges and stuff. I knew I didn't want to go to college. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the music business. So I signed up to go to the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences out here in Tempe.
Shout out to Crash.
Yeah, amazing school. But at that time, it was, this was 99, so it was just the one campus, and it wasn't as big, so there was a waiting period. So there was a 2-year waiting period at that time before getting in there.
That was just the Tempe campus, right?
Yeah, it was just Tempe before they opened up Gilbert. And so I was like, okay, so I ended up taking some classes at, community college classes, just basic math type stuff, but I did take some recording classes. Just to get into that. And then I got a call saying, hey, since you're local, at that time it was like, there was 12 people in the class, probably 1 or 2 were usually local. And they're like, hey, it was like, someone dropped out for this next semester coming up, starts in 2 weeks, you're local, can you make it? I was like, fuck yeah.
I'm in.
So, after 2 months of, community college, I started going to Crass and learning a lot more there. That's where there was a teacher, I wish I remember his name. He was kind of like the MIDI instructor, and I would just stay after, learn things from him, learn how to sync MIDI more, sync to the computers, and all that.
Younger guy or older guy?
He was younger at the time. Yeah.
Trying to think, because I don't think it's the same dude that
he was a redheaded dude.
Because we went to Crass as well.
Oh, okay, awesome.
He was redheaded dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't Wolf Langus.
No, it wasn't Wolf Langus.
No, I know Wolf. Yeah, it wasn't Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he kind of taught me a lot more, and I still hadn't. I was doing sampling, but most of it was still keyboard based. But I was collecting records, because I also got Acid, Sonic Foundry Acid at that time, which a lot of people start on. And that kind of was geared towards sampling, so it kind of opened up a whole new world there with the sampling and integrating that as well.
Nice. Acid. Yeah. I love when we talk about old programs.
People
I love
it.
I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to Crash too, man, because like you said, we both went there. That's where we met. And so much has changed even since we went there. They're now doing
broadcasting and stuff too.
Yeah, like broadcasting class stuff, now.
That's crazy.
I went just to check it out and see what teachers were still there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I wish we would have been a little waited. Oh, where was this at when we went there, man?
Broadcast trucks and stuff like that for
really?
Football.
Yeah, and they go live
So they go to
that. Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because when I went, they didn't even have that second half where you learn more of Pro Tools. I was the second class to be offered that second part. So we learned the basics of Pro Tools, but you could go further. Like we didn't have I think it was the studio that had the whole Pro Tools set up. We didn't get those classes, nothing like that.
Studio D.
Yeah, Studio D. That's what it was.
Shout out to
That's
Studio
where
D.
we spent a lot of our time together.
Yeah.
So we would book it out, and we would sit in the room and we would just sit in there and mix like crazy, man. In there, it was so much fun, man. Those were the days.
Yeah, we were still doing the tape, I was like when I did my project, I used DA tapes. That's what I was.
I'm
doing.
glad that they still teach that though.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Because
good.
I'm assuming they still do.
They have to, bro.
Because
probably not the DAs, but the reels. Maybe they do the DAs.
I feel like they taught us everything about tape though.
Yeah.
Because it was like not everybody's going to be using this, but it was like just such a you should know bits and pieces of this at least.
Yeah, know the history too.
Right?
Yeah,
because tape is awesome. Anyways, you get such good sound from it.
It's funny with this old resurgence of old reels coming back, cassettes coming back. I'm waiting for people to start using DAs and ADATs again.
Yeah,
man. So you going to Crash? What learning more about production. Mm-hmm. You're on acid now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're on acid now.
So we had our little crew from high school. Obviously there's a couple guys that weren't doing it anymore. And then it was me, Jason Horn. He was going by Jiz Hornet at the time. Okay. And our boy Aaron, Aphex, and his brother, and Ski Mask, and so that was like our CSC. That was our crew. Okay. And so we're the ones that are taking this serious. We're doing this. So that we really started focusing on just recording. We didn't really have any kind of we didn't know what we were going to do with it, but that's like all we did was record. Like we probably did like 50 tracks, something like that, in like a couple of years, because that's what we did. We just, just sit at home, smoke and record. And, that was our life. Go to work.
Okay. So talk to us about Mind Spit.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you just go. I'm gonna let you go ham on it. Let's talk about how you started it. Talk about what it is.
So Mindspit was with my crew. We were calling our label Mindspit Records. It's just what we were calling it, and I was using that as my production tag as well for Mindspit Productions. And so after Crass, I actually moved to New Orleans, and so obviously we weren't working with that crew anymore. And I met someone out there. It's when you're digging, like digging in New Orleans is a whole nother world, man. Like the record stores and stuff.
The sounds, for sure.
And what you can find. I met a guy who was around my age digging, and at that time, you don't see young guys digging. Like, it's not like now where everyone's buying records. It's like, so if you see another guy your age digging for records, you're like, I know what you're doing. So we linked up. He's the one that taught me how to use an MPC because he had an MPC. So I ended up buying his old MPC. So when I moved back from New Orleans, I had learned a lot from there and was doing everything in the MPC. And I came back and was working with those guys, same guys again. Okay. And that's when I got my job back at the radio station at 1100 KFNX. And so with Mindspit, there was this weird evolution of, there's our little crew. We're not as serious, we're not trying to make, be, superstars with this. But then through the radio station, I met a couple more people who are like, this is what I want to do. And so they were as focused as I was to do things. So I was working overnights at the radio station at the time, and some dude comes knocking at the door, and it's 3rd Street in Palm Lane, it's middle of nowhere. Not in the middle of nowhere, but at that time, it's like no one's just knocking at.
Right.
And it's Knock. I met Nocturnal. And he dropped off a CD. He wanted to see if he could get it played on one of the shows we had there. And we ended up talking, and he played me some of his music. And I was like, man, this dude is good. First off, I never knew that there was anyone out here doing like that sample-based East Coast style hip hop.
Right.
It was still that West Coast G-funk sound. That's what was happening. So I was like, but like that's not what I was listening to. I was listening to the Raucous Records, Slum Village and all that. So when you have people out here doing that, it's like, okay, they're my type of dude right here. That's who I want to work with. So I linked up with Knock. And he came over like a week later. We did like 3 or 4 tracks in one go because I had my little studio at the house. And he was managed by Ray Diggs. Diggs is crazy. I love Diggs, man. But Diggs, we would say, people would ask, what does Diggs do? We're like, Diggs does things. That's just, he would make things happen. He's that dude.
Yeah.
So he was an amazing manager. So
everybody needs that guy.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody needs one in their crew, one of those dudes. For sure.
So that's how I met Diggs, and I started working, and then I met Mike Devious at a show, and Mike Devious and Knock really hit it off. And so the core was me, Knock, Mike Devious, and Diggs managing us. And me and Diggs are like, what are we going to do with this? And we're like, let's start a label. Let's do this, Like, we're inspired by, like, Raucous, all those independent labels, stuff like that. So, like, let's just do it. And through his connections, that's kind of how we were able to really get our names out there and do things. Like, we were able to get him on shows. He was also doing promotions for independent labels at the time. So we would be doing that stuff and promoting our stuff. And, we got on some big shows. We linked up with Gresher, who was a sound guy over at the Marquee. And so he was getting on our first big show. He got us to open up for Nas. It was like,
Fire.
Wow.
Fire.
Like that was like at the Marquee. That was just like, damn. Okay. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. I remember that was when he was dating Khalees, and Khalees was there. I just remember backstage looking over, and there's Khalees. I'm like, holy shit. Like this is a whole new world. So that just opened up a lot. And we were focused on just knocking Mike Devious and getting those albums out and working on all that. And then timeline's kind of crazy. You know, I can't, you know, long ago. So then we started expanding a little more. Like I was working with some people I met at KFNX, like Glad to Meet Ya. He came through. He had his little crew. We brought him onto the label. We're working with him. We took on Audio Oddwell, who was part of the Wholesome crew with Anglo-Saxon, who was going by Anglo-Saxon at the time, Illal. And that was an easy one because he already had his album done ready. So we were just basically took it on to promote it. And then we had Proof. Philharmonic came on. Philharmonic was another person that I met at the radio station. And then through the radio station, I was already working with Chili Powder, just recording his album and giving him beats. The album he was working on at the time, 480 Headbanger. And through Powderland Records, he kind of came in with us. We were doing our little thing together, so we were all helping each other. And, you know, with him, with his name helped as well, and all of his connections. So I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone. Then we brought Raymond Red on from out in Yuma. He ended up with the Man Up Squad.
Shout out to Man Up Squad.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Raymond, man. Raymond is like, he's a very nice, like he's the nicest guy ever, man. But like he's very intimidating, but he's one of the nicest dudes ever. Like I love Raymond. So we had Raymond Red, Living Proof. I know I'm missing someone. And then as we started doing a lot more, we brought on Blaze Rock to help run the label with us. So running the label was me, Blaze Rock, and Diggs. And so we, with all of our just collective input and everything, we were able to kind of
that's a lot of people, man. Like starting out, you know what I'm saying?
That's what killed us, though. You know, I'll get into that, but you know, it's when you have too many people, it just became an assembly line. I was making beats, recording, just get it out there. And, you know, I got burnt out for a while. So it got kind of crazy. And, you know, Diggs and I were always at each other's throats. I mean, we're best friends, so it's not like anything like that. But, you know. But, I mean, during that period where we were doing a lot for a few years there, where, you know, we were just doing shows almost every other night, whether it was a little mason jar show or we were throwing our own shows. Diggs would bring people out, and, you know, we'd throw our artists on there. And he was working with TMC, Ty Michael Carter, promoting at the time. So Ty would throw us on shows. And we're still getting all those big shows coming through the marquee. Like, you know, we got the Roots show. I know they got the Killer Mike show and Method Man show. So all of those big people that were coming through, like Gresher loved us. He loved our music. He'd be like, come on, get on the show. Yeah,
awesome, man.
So we had a pretty good name for ourselves for a while, just on because we were working so hard getting our faces out there. Even if we weren't on a show, we were at the shows. I mean, that's what you have to do. You know, whether it's, you know, supporting everyone else, just making your face known, handing out flyers. And, you know, the internet wasn't as big back then, so that's what you had to get out there. You had to grind. People don't understand that now. These kids now
from the trunk.
You know what
I'm saying?
Like, it's like Instagram, the internet kind of killed that. It's like there's no camaraderie anymore. Whereas back then, we were all competing with each other. There was that hip hop bravado, you know, where it's like, well, you know, I know I'm better than you, but, you know, we're still cool, you know, right. So I think that's a huge loss to the hip hop community right now, but, you know, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So yeah, we were doing that, the MindSpit thing for a long time, going heavy. We even were able to get on the Warp Tour, the West Coast leg of the Warp Tour. We took audio on and did that. So that was really cool. Like, I look back on those years of my life, it's like, man, actually did a lot, you know? Right. Yeah. You know, but then you think, I was like, okay, well, not much came of it, but at least we had a good time. You know, we had a name for ourselves. So, yeah.
What was the demise? You said it was an assembly line, and
it was just
too many people, too many heads, too many.
We couldn't
things going on.
We couldn't focus on one person at a time. You know? And some of the artists were starting to feel that too. You know, things being delayed because we had to work on this or something like that. So we have so much. Like on my hard drive, I have an unreleased Philharmonic album on my hard drive. You know, that has like guest appearance after guest appearance on it, like that. It's just we just never got. Drop. Yeah, I know we should.
You still kept the Mindspit?
Yeah, so I still do operate under Mindspit. So that's I do all my stuff under Mindspit, you know, and the guys they'll still, you know, they still rep Mindspit and stuff like that, but they've all branched off doing their own things, you know, like Knock, he's really heavy in the video production right now. He's the one that put together that Mindspit documentary. And he's doing a bunch of music videos for a lot of local guys and for himself, you know. I know he did stuff for like Tay the Crown and Boogie Brown, I think stuff like that. So he's doing a lot, and Mike Davis, you know, he's, you know, a family man now, you know, kind of settling down a bit. And obviously Philharmonic, he's still out there doing stuff.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing.
And Blaze Rock is just killing it too. Yeah. So that was kind of like the Mindspit thing, and then it kind of ended when Diggs moved to, like, the Nail and Coffin Diggs moving back to Jersey, and then I ended up moving to San Diego for a short time. So it was like, okay, that's kind of it right there.
Yeah. Why'd you leave San Diego? Just out of curiosity, man. San Diego's such a beautiful place, man. It's freaking awesome there.
I was like 25, 26 at the time. My job at the time moved me out there to manage the one of our competitors that we bought out. So they sent me out to run the production department out there. And then after a couple of years, they realized it was too expensive. So they're like, hey, we got to bring this back.
Gotcha.
And they were expensive. Like, it's Cali, man. Yeah. Well, they were like, okay, you know, we know you love it out here. We won't be mad if you stay, and they'll come back with a company. I was like, I can't afford to live out here without a job.
Right.
So yeah, I came back.
Without two, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Without two,
for sure. A couple of jobs to live in Cali, bro.
Even at that time. But then when I came back, that's when I was in San Diego is when I linked up with Lost Perception. Like, I had known Lost Perception for a while. Like, he would throw us beats for Mindspit. I always thought he was a dope producer, and he was a really cool dude. And when I was in San Diego, we started talking a lot more. I think it was through like Arizona Beats and 602streets.com. And he was, at that time, he had the Council Productions. He still has the Council Productions. There was 4 producers in there. I think a couple of the guys were kind of not doing as much, and he asked me if I wanted to come join. I was like, I'm in San Diego, I'm making beats for fun. I was like, I don't know. It took a lot for him to he really pushed me, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. And he was working with Blaze at the time, so I had some beats I put together for Blaze to use for his album. It was a Council Productions album, and then they had just wrapped up Rock Knowledge's album before I came aboard, except they still needed some interludes, so I did like 3 beats for the interludes on his album. And so when I moved back to San Diego, this was like a whole nother chapter of working with, you know, Lost and the Council and starting to work. I thought I would retired. I was like, I'm done, you know? Right. But I came back, and that's when I really started focusing on getting my name out there as a producer. I was doing like battles, like, you know, almost once a week. Just, you know,
shout out to the beat battles.
Yeah, man. I miss that. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, I got to do the Red Bull Big Tune beat battle that was out here.
Yo, the beat battles were fire.
And they were happening all the time.
All the time.
And it was so dope.
They were dope.
Because it's like I know I'm a good producer, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking get in there.
Yeah,
I'd assume they would like really push you too. You know, like creatively hearing somebody else's, you know, stuff and going, oh man, that is fire, man. Like, but I know I can do something a little better. Yeah, you know, so you got like this. That's fire, dude. I love that.
And that was good for the producers. I mean, you had that with DJs already. You had that with breakdancers already, and rappers.
Rappers, right?
There was never that for producers until we started doing the producer battles, and
those were fire, man.
That really pushed us. And I think that was a precursor to things now where there's, you know, like Sunday School Beats and stuff like that, where producers are a little different than rappers. You know, rappers, get mad at each other too much. We're like producers, like we work together. We really push each other up and stuff like that. We're not trying to, we are trying to be better than them, but we're not trying to, I guess, belittle them. We'll work together and help each other out.
That's why I thought what Lost Perception did with his most recent album was it Juggernaut?
Yeah, Juggernauts. Yeah.
I was like, that's so dope, and I love that because, like we talked to him about, when you have two producers, they have their own styles, they have their signatures. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and being able to merge that with so many people, I thought that was dope. And you're right, man. Producers are totally different. Hey, man, I love the way you do drums. I'm gonna hit the keys for it, and we're gonna create something dope.
Yeah, it's
what
fun.
I mean? Even Dre, like the most known producer in the world, Dr. Dre. A lot of younger producers came from him because he would have people come in. What's the one dude? Oh man, from Miami, the white guy,
Scott Storch.
Thank you. He came from that. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. It's super dope.
Yeah. No, and bless him, man, to be able to like have the patience to do that. All those producers to like work with timelines and stuff like that. Like that's got to be tough. That's kind of like why I don't work with rappers anymore. Is because I hate dealing with hounding people and getting shit.
Talk to us about your process as a producer. Like, are you start with the drums? You starting with the melody? Every producer I feel like has their little process. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for me, for my production, like if you listen to my production, I make sure the kick and the snare stand out. So I start with the drums for the most part. Okay. Because if you have just killer drums, like the sample doesn't really matter. But if those drums are knocking, it's like that's the backbone. That's like the bass player. Like if you have a good bass and drum line and drum program, like that's you're got most of the job done. Then it's just kind of sprinkling the samples around that or the keys around that, whatever you're doing. But I did find, because last year I challenged myself to do the 100 beats in 100 days, where I was doing 1 beat a day. And I found that I was like, man, all my drums sound the same. Like all my programs sound the same. So I did switch it up for a while. I was like, let me start with samples. So now I do a little bit differently. Sometimes I'll start with the sample because then the drums will come out a little differently. But yeah, for the most part, I start with the drums. Okay. Because I think that's the most important part.
I agree.
I agree too. Back to what we were talking about. It's the drums or the bass. Those two are like the backbones of music anyways. They're keeping your time signature.
That's why I hate those damn beats that don't have drums in them.
Right.
I know they're popular now. You get the whole Griselda thing and everything. Like they're fun to listen to, but like they just don't knock.
Right.
But yeah, I guess the focus as a producer, I'm coming from that perspective, but it's focused on the MC, which is what it's supposed to be. Right. So.
You have a very interesting signature sound too. Like I was going through and I was listening to both the albums, that the one that came out in November, the 100 Beats, and then the new one that just came out, dropped in January. Beats Volume 1?
The Rapper Beats Volume 1.
The Rapper Beats Volume 1. And I gotta say, man, I found myself so interested in, like, you use very interesting sounds to me. You pull, I don't know if it's your samples. I'm not sure, if are you playing any instruments? Because it's not your regular run-of-the-mill type of beats. So are you using a lot of samples, or are you actually playing some stuff in there as well?
I use both. Back in the day, I wouldn't mix samples and keyboards. Like I was strictly hip hop. I'm backpacker. I'm doing samples. It wasn't until I started getting older and be like, I don't give a fuck anymore. That I started layer keyboards and synths in there. And the way I approach it, I don't want anything to stand out. I want, when it comes to the melody and the samples, I want everything to sound like it was all played together by a band. Right. So if I have a synth, a lead line, I will hide it just enough to where it seems like it belongs there. Like you won't hear anything standing out or anything like that. That's dope. I want it to sound like I chopped up. This was a whole song and I chopped it up that way.
That's good engineering though. Yeah. Like really, I mean, because you to me now you're getting into the psychology of human brains in a sense, right? Because it's there.
Yeah.
But it's not in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love when producers do that because
you got to peek behind the curtain, you know?
Right, because when you listen to a song, right? Like, no matter how you listen to it, you could be in your car, it could be with headphones, it could be whatever, and you'll listen to something 20, 30 times, and then you put your headphones on that are like super good, like studio headphones, whatever, right? Whatever you deem the most valuable speaker that you have. Then all of a sudden you're like, I've heard this song 30 times. I never heard this synth in the background.
That's a fact.
What the hell is it? And then you find it's like a whole new experience with the song. And I love that. I love that, you know, it's not like hiding it. It's still there, but your brain just doesn't perceive it right away, right? Because it's so focused on that beat, right? And you're like, man, that beat's hard, man. That beat's dope, you know? And then you hear it, and then you hear that little synth line in the background. And you're like, man, that is fire. Yeah. You know, and I really awesome, do like appreciate that though, you know, because, you know, hearing it from an actual producer producing beats to actually mix it correctly. Yeah. You know, and when I listen to music, that's one of the very first things I listen to. And, you know, everybody listens to music differently. A lot of people listen to lyrics first. But I'm music first always. Yeah. Like if it does not grab me musically, I'm out.
Lyrics don't matter.
I'm out, man. Like most of the time I'm out. Like unless we're doing a review, man, and I have to listen to it, and then I'll find something that I, you know, have to like, or, you know, my brain perceiving it to be a good song or something, you know. So
yeah, it does lead, I think, for my beats to sound almost maybe a little more, I hate to say muddier, because I do, in order to make that happen, you have to put a lot of, you know, you're doing more reverb, you're doing a little bit more to it. So it makes that kind of helps as well. So there, I mean, there's a give and take to it, but
little tricks to the trade. Yeah. Let's talk about the radio.
All right. So this is probably where the crazy stories come
yeah. That's why I wanted to get all the bubble gum stuff out the way, the nice stuff.
Yeah.
We're far enough in, so now the curse words can start flying on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we had some crazy mind spit stories, but those guys may not want me to share them. But as far as the radio stuff,
let's get into it. I'll say this: I loved watching that documentary, which was very well done, but I do feel like there's definitely some shit behind the curtain. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just alluded to stuff. It was like, yeah, man, strippers and keggers, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, what we about to get into on Saturday? So let's get into it, man.
That's another one of those things where I look back, is like, how the fuck did we get away with that? You know, that's that whole thing. So when I finished up with the conservatory, I did my internship with one of the Pro Tools instructors, Joe Zazueta. He had his Zaya Studios out here, and he did mostly post-production for video. And so I wasn't doing much radio stuff with there. So I was trying to expand myself more. I was learning that, okay, I might not make money working in a studio. I'm not going to work in Ocean Way or anything like that. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So when I was looking for a job in some sort of the field, I saw this little radio station, 1100 KFNX. They needed board ops, which is just it was a talk radio station, so they just need someone to, you know, turn the mics on, play commercials, that sort of thing. You're just in the background while everyone, you know, is hosting their show. Right. And it was 1100 KFNX was a pay to play type thing where people could buy an hour and have their own little radio show on there. And they can, you know, sell commercials and whatnot. You know, a lot of people kind of looked at it like a scam, but it was more like, you know, because some of the salespeople were a little, you know, kind of trick people. They're like, it'll pay for itself. It's like, no, you're paying for this shit. So, but you know, it was cool. The people that worked there, all the sport ops and all the behind the scenes people, we were all younger people. They were all in the local music scene. It was mostly like punk rock and metal dudes. You know, it's like my boss, his name was Johnny Duct Tape. You know, he was the program director. You know?
Okay.
I remember when I went in my interview, he's like, "Do you own a gun?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, if you're going to be working here overnights, you should probably have one with you." I was like, so it's like, you know, this like little type spot like that. And rinky dinky place, but like
you said 3rd Street and Palm Lane.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I don't know how it is now, but back then, it was just bums, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got my job there, just running boards. And when you were an engineer there, after 10 o'clock, they didn't sell any time after 10 o'clock. It was just like, no one's gonna buy time after this time.
Okay.
So they let us engineers have an hour to do our own little show, whatever we want. And so I did I would bring my friends in. We would just play music, just talk shit. It was a professional, it was a professional setup. Right. So, I was 18, 19, free reign of this fucking radio station.
Yeah.
And, we would do our show. I didn't take it very seriously, just having fun. And then I brought Jason Horn, who was going by Jiz Hornet at the time. He, that's he's in radio, he loves radio. That's his thing. That's what he always wanted to do. So I got him a job there as a board op. And he started doing a hip hop show. And then I was like, let's just merge ours. And he started taking it really seriously. We're like, let's open it up to local music. And so, that was the key thing is having the local thing. Yeah. People are like, oh shit, we can come in the station, have our music played. Mm-hmm. And even though it's a 50,000 watt station, which is huge for an AM station, but at night you have to power down to 1,000 watts, right? Because radio waves, they travel further at night. But we had control over that shit. So so when our shows came on, we were like, boom, power up to 50,000 watts.
Damn.
We would literally, people would get here, we get calls from Texas, the East Coast, on the right night.
That's crazy though, man. Jeez.
And then we would also, people started calling in from, this is before it got too big. We were just playing music and talking shit. And we started having collect calls from Durango and the Tent City stuff like that, and the prisons out here, and we're like, what the hell's going on? And apparently they can only listen to AM radio at the time, so they were catching our show, and we would get these collect calls, and us being, fuck it, we'll take a collect call.
Right.
You have all these guys like, let me freestyle on there. And everyone's fucking shouting out their people back home and stuff like that. You hear everyone in the background. Shout
out little Nuck Nuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is for Sleeper right here. That's exactly what it was. Right. And so these guys were telling their people back home, I'm on the radio. Mm-hmm. So you get not only the people out there listen, you get the people, their friends and family listen. I'm going to give you a shout out tonight. I'm going to call in. Mm-hmm. So it just was like, what the fuck is going on here? How did this happen? I mean, we were doing like 2 hours one night a week, and then it just expanded because no one was that time was just there. We're like, we'll just come in more and start doing the show more until they tell us not to. And it took 3 years before they told us not to.
That's dope.
We'd be doing that, and then we started bringing in local people for like Freestyle Fridays because obviously, I knew everyone from the scene. Jason knew everyone from the scene, and so it's slowly word of mouth, people coming in. We would have do interviews. Like our first big interview, we had because my cousin was dating Zigzag from NB Riders at the time. So we brought him in. He was like our first interview. And then we brought Knock. We bring the Mind Spit people. Right. And then we expanded beyond that. And there would be more and more people coming,
Yeah.
And especially with the freestyles, we would do Freestyle Fridays. There would literally be like 20, sometimes 40 people waiting in line to spit.
That's crazy.
And there was, they could cuss because at that time of night, you could cuss on the radio. So there was just, whatever the fuck you want, just spit whatever you want, come in. If you suck, we don't care. We did, if you're dope, cool. But,
right. We just providing you with the space and opportunity.
Right. Yeah. And it just turned into a party, man. Like we ended up doing 3 nights a week from till like 4 a.m. sometimes, just whenever we got tired, like Thursday, Friday, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights. And we started getting sponsors, helping us out with the show and stuff like that. Bring us, a pizza place, bring a pizza, and like a smoke shop. We'd be able to have giveaways and stuff like that. Okay. And yeah, man, we got a strip club to sponsor us. So we had the conference room there. You know, you'd have strippers in the conference room, you know, doing their thing. We would bring a keg in, and we'd bring a grill in, not inside, but outside, you know, in the courtyard area. So people would be barbecuing, people would be freestyling, people would be smoking in the bathroom, smoking outside. Crazy. I mean, there would be blunts and 40s passed around, everything, man.
The bosses wasn't like.
The bosses were probably partaking.
No, well, so our bosses were cool as fuck. They didn't care, like but the owners, they just, as long as they had money coming in from their other ventures, they really didn't care. They didn't care as long as nothing happened. You know, nobody
got hurt.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
the out of sight, out of mind, basically. Okay. So they were really cool like that. You know, and there were guys that we would go out drinking with, anyways. You know, so it's not like there were stuffy dudes.
Right. Okay.
So it was a little lax that way, but yeah, man, like it just turned into this just big free for all house party, you know, for like 2 years.
That's crazy.
And man, some of the stuff that happened, we would have shootings there, we would have fights. Man, yeah, I remember coming out one time. I opened the door to go outside to go smoke, and I just see this dude, I'm not gonna say his name, just peering around the corner, got his gap behind his back, looking around. I'm like, I'm just gonna go back inside, you know. Like it was like that, man.
Damn, that's crazy.
My boy, he got his bike shot up there. Yeah, there's a few people got beat down there, and yeah, it was.
Well, out of all the crazy stuff, what about, like, do you have like a really like fond memory, really something really like just crazy cool happened on one of those nights or something?
I don't know, man. It was all a blur first off.
I
was gonna say it was somebody like big
I
and
could
famous.
See the haze start coming through while you were thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the big thing that like we were like most proud of that we did, and you know, I have to give most of the credit to Jason, because that was his show. You know, I was just helping him out with it and co-hosting. So that was his show. I was able to partake in. So I think when we got the New Times write-up, that were like
that's huge too.
This huge, you know, 3-4 page write up, you know, and they're talking about what we were doing, and that was just cool to see. It's like, damn, this is the New Times. I would wait to pick it up every Wednesday, you know, and now I'm in it. This is dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, and then, you know, with everyone, like, we're so appreciative of us playing their music and stuff like that, you know, being able to provide something for the community and all that, and doing something that no one else was doing. You know, when we would hear that "fuck power," you know, them people say that, we're like, yeah, that's right, we're doing this shit. They ain't doing it, you know.
Right.
And it's funny, I love Matlocks, man. But at the time, Matlocks and them, they started doing their thing after we did. Our whole thing was like, it's probably not true, but like, because we were doing the local, we feel like they started doing the local. Matlocks is my boy. I love Matlocks, but that's at that time, like, it was like, no, we were in competition. Man. Like we were
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Right. Yeah.
We're like, we had Freestyle Fridays first. What are they doing?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Nah. I get that. You know what I mean? And definitely, that's just that was just the times at that time. You know what I mean? Like, especially for hip hop. You know, because hip hop is just naturally competitive. You know,
well, at that time, the whole beef, you know, like that's what it was about. Hip hop was about at that time. Yeah. It was just the whole beef thing. That's when you had the Eminem, Benzino, Eminem versus everyone, basically. So that's what people wanted. That's what they thought hip hop was let's attack each other. Let's do that. Yeah. So
now everybody's kumbaya and singing with each other.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Which is good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I want, you know, gotta have some beef.
Yeah. So there was a lot of drama, you know, and it all just, like I said, I'm not going to name artist names, but, you know, like there were times where people felt entitled for us to play their music, you know. You know, I had one guy came in, he's just like, play our shit. We've been here since the beginning. I'm like, no, we'll get to it, man, you know. And he's like, no, like just basically threatening me to play his music. And I was like, no, we're not doing that shit, you know. And that's... You get those bad apples, I guess, every once in a while, and that was towards the end, and that's kind of where I was like, okay, this is getting to be a bit too much, you know. This is a little much, and it just got too big, and it just, you know,
got a little out of control.
Yeah, it imploded. I got tired of it. Like towards the end there, I would only show up for like 1 or 2 of the nights out of the 3, just because I was like, man, I'm over this.
Was that basically everybody was kind of just getting tired of it.
Yeah, and then the radio station was finally like, no, that we gotta cut this. This is there's too much happening here.
Yeah,
there's too much going on.
Could be a liability or whatever.
Yeah. So we went out and we didn't fade out. We went out at our peak, and so
yeah, man. Yeah.
What's the craziest? One of the craziest things that happened. I mean, like really crazy, not like crazy cool, like oh my gosh, what the hell is going on here? Without naming names and shit.
Seeing a laser spotlight on someone who was talking shit to someone else.
Oh, what? Shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Like it got to that. That's where it was like, okay,
that's nuts.
But that's how it was then, man. In the hip hop out here, it's like, because you would go to shows. How many fights were there? Like,
all the time.
It's just how it was, and like that's like on the bad side, that's what it was. But for on like the good side, I think it was just like we'd just be outside drinking from the keg, passing around the 40 and smoking and grilling up burgers.
What years was this?
This was probably 2001 to 2003 or so, around that time period.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
right in that time, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe 2004.
Yeah, that would have been like the Eminem.
Yeah.
50 Ja Rule, that whole timeline. Yeah. That is what hip hop was about.
Maybe it was later. I a little bit later. I don't know. Like I
would say from 01 to like 08, 09 is just that pretty much that decade of hip hop was like everybody was beefing. Like,
that's what it was.
Even listeners, like consumers, were picking sides. Like, you rocking with 50?
Yeah,
I'm over here rocking with this dude.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with Ja.
Yeah, I'm like, right. They don't even know you, dog. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm G Unit, bro. Like, they don't even know you. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's fire though.
Yeah. No,
I wanted to ask you about music in general. Because since you said you kind of grew up liking everything and you still like everything, where do you think music is today? Do you think it's in a good spot? Do you think it's in a weird spot? You don't like it? You like it? What's your take on music today?
I think it's awesome that anyone can put something out right now. Like, I think that's the most amazing thing. But it's a double-edged sword. You got a lot of crap out there, and there's a lot to wade through, and the mainstream is just shrinking. So there's you only have the same few artists that are putting out those mainstream songs. When you have when it's funny that you have all these people putting out music,
right? Yeah.
I'm not, especially like with hip hop culture, like I'm not saying, like I'm not a huge fan of the new stuff. Like I'm still listening. I'm glad some of the old dudes are still putting out stuff like Planet Asia and stuff like that. They're still putting out, keeping up with the times.
Yeah. Even not like
Nas, yeah. Like man, those 3 albums that he put out. That's the best hip hop I've heard in so long, man. Like,
it's classic.
Yeah. Hit Boy is up there now for me. Yeah.
Hit Boy is on a different.
I don't want Nas to do anything with anybody else for the rest of his career.
Yeah, because Nas has a track record of picking shitty beats. He has the primo beats, stuff like that. Obviously, Illmatic was front to back best beats ever. But after like his first 3 albums, it was like, man, maybe you should have someone else.
Yeah,
curate your beats for you.
Well, but the Hit Boy Nas era, I feel like that's the best Hit Boy shit too. Like, I feel like Hit Boy has a whole nother file that just says Nas. And then everybody else gets like, you guys can go through this shit.
I feel like he does 2 different beats. Like he does beat, like obviously he's doing beats specifically for Nas, but it's a different style beat for him. Because like I didn't know Hit Boy until the first Nas album.
Okay.
Like I heard the name, but like I lumped it into this whole trap, whatever, new hip hop sound. So I was like, I'm not even gonna check for that. So when I went back and listened to some of his other stuff, I'm like, it's just not the same, and the beats are different, and obviously I love Nas, so I'm gonna like the stuff better. But I feel like he has 2 different styles that he does.
He does for sure. I mean, he did an album with Big Sean, and that album is totally different from what he did with Nas on all 3 of those albums. And they're coming out with KD3 this year, I think.
Yep.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be so good.
But
man.
you got like the Cordays of the world. I don't know if you heard of Corday.
Yeah.
He's dope.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a lot of the same. I think you know, as long as I like people who are unique. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I like
that is a big thing for you. Yeah,
I like if you don't sound like everybody else and you're dope and you could put together some good music.
Yeah,
I think, you know what I'm saying. Like I like the Roddy Riches, you know, but I grew up, you know, messing with the Cubes and the Snoops and the, you know what I mean, like the Jays and the Nas's. But some of the new stuff is so unique. It's like, damn, that shit is. I know it's auto-tune and it's not really my thing, but that shit's kind of fire.
You got to get out of that whole like hip hop like old school mentality of, okay, not everyone has to be a lyricist, you know?
Right.
You know, just enjoy the music for what it is.
Right.
Don't pick it apart, which is hard for people like us who that's what we do. We pick apart music, you know? Yeah. So it's hard just to listen to an album and, you know, and not pick it apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, my son, he's going to be 10 here in the next couple months, and he's, you know, listening to the new stuff. So he'll play me stuff every once in a while. And some of it, I'm like, what the hell is this? Right. Like, this is terrible. How are you listening to this? But there are some artists who'll play for me. I'm like, this is actually really good. I was like, damn. Okay.
How does he find it? How does he come across it?
Fortnite.
It's weird, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but that would be where like, he'd probably be hearing it.
Through Fortnite
on
and like
metaverse.
And like what he's all over like TikTok and stuff like that. So it's a TikTok song, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think, you know, I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it until it changes. I love music, man, and I love everything. It's just so hard to find and sift through everything. I just wish there was some sort of better algorithm out there to find some of this stuff, because people put stuff on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Apple, everywhere. Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, Pandora. I mean, lists just keep going. And you're like, there are just too many. I feel like
so you go back and listen to the Gangstar album, you know? You can't choose. You know?
But I love new music. I love trying to find like this new, you know, whatever it is. You know, I get so excited. I think we've talked about it. This guy, Black Odyssey, R&B artist, man. I was so happy to find this guy because he doesn't sound like any R&B artist you've ever heard of before. He's fire. He's so good. But those are, how did I come across it? I don't know how I came across that. I just came across it, and it just happened. And it's unfortunate that it becomes that way, you know, because I agree with you in the sense of, I think it's so cool that everybody can release whatever they want. Yeah. You know, there's nothing, doesn't really cost a whole lot of money. You know, you can do everything on a computer, which everybody's pretty much got today.
Yeah, it's like I have no more excuses, which is why I'm actually releasing stuff now. You know, that I always had an excuse. You know, I just don't have the funds to do this.
Right.
You know, but now it's like, God, I can't give any more excuses. I got to put some music out.
Speaking of that, talk to us about the Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You said it's on hiatus.
Yeah. So with Jason Horn, he's big in the cannabis community out here.
Okay.
He owns a few smoke shops out here, the high maintenance smoke shops.
Okay.
And he's opened up a smoke lounge. So me and him came up in radio. We're always doing that. You know, we had the UTI show, and he always has that bug. Like he loves doing that. That's his jam, you know, doing radio, getting on and doing that. So I think it was like 4 years ago, we set up a studio at his place in Tempe, and nothing really happened with it. We're like, this is too much. And then we came across Twitch, and he met someone who really knew Twitch and knew how to do that. And so we're like, okay, so we got all the cameras, got everything, and started doing that. And he brought someone in to help produce it, and it just kind of blew up there for a while. We would have interviews, people in the marijuana community out here. We would talk about marijuana events, and we would bring do giveaways and stuff like that. And we he had a good following. He made a good following, and we would have, because it was we were trying to bring the whole UTI thing into this, not the format, but the feel, the vibe of it.
Right.
So luckily, I mean, he has a big loft up in Tempe in one of the towers, so we were able to open it up to a few people. You know, we would have 20, 30 people there just hanging out, smoking. You know, we had the cameras out there that would show the crowd, and we had us, and they started doing different contests, like blunt rolling contests, which is something we did back in UTI. We do they do the dab contest, the bong pong, stuff like that. So it's just a really cool show, which is funny because I'm not a huge smoker, you know, like I'm a casual smoker, but we just have such a good vibe together that, you know, I'm able to work. I can kind of keep up what they're talking about.
Got you.
Because, man, I'll tell you, man, smoking now is a lot different than it was back in the day.
It's a whole thing, man. It's a science behind this shit now, for real, man. And some of the names, I'm like,
I mean, some of the rules for like the dab contest, like the rules they put into place, I'm like, you got to think about stuff like this, like, and then to make it work. It's crazy. Like, man, that's crazy. Yeah. So we're doing that, but because he's opening up the smoke lounge over there on Mill Avenue, he had to put the show on hold so he could focus on that.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot involved in.
So will be coming back?
Yeah, it's going to be coming back.
Nice.
Just no date or anything like that. So yeah, look out for that one.
Cool.
Are you going to do any type of streaming yourself?
I got on Twitch for a little while. I was doing do live beat making and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was more of. First off, it was a little bit of an insecurity getting on there, but I got better at it because I was doing live beat making during our Twitch, the High Maintenance show, the High in Arizona show. I would do live beat making while, you know, they would talk about, you know, everything.
That's dope.
So I got a little better at it, but it is just more about time, I guess. You know, you got family and stuff like that. It makes it kind of tough.
I get it.
Yeah. Because I'm at the age now where I'm doing this for fun. You know, back in the day, it's like we're trying to make money with it. Now I have money, but my time is precious. Whereas back then, you know, I had all the time in the world, but no money.
Right.
So it's a time thing. You know, you take care of your responsibilities and stuff like that.
I get it. You know, Mega Ran was talking about that too. He put out a thing. He was like, "How do y'all dads do this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, you got to set up your little daddy's station right here where you can see the kids and you can still mess around over here." You know what I mean? So no, I get it.
No, it was because what happened, like towards the end of Mindspit and doing production, like I took a break in 2010. Like I literally just went boom, stopped.
Dark 30.
You know, I got married, started having my family, and for like an 8-year period, it was like I wasn't doing anything music wise. It was just like I'm focusing on the family. And then, you know, I realized, man, I miss this. So I started playing, you know, I was playing guitar again, started that way. And then I was like, let me try doing beats again. You know, I was good at that. And then it just kind of like, I just kind of fell into it again. And when someone asked me for beats, I was like, am I getting into this again? Am I doing this again? So like T. Call reached out to me and he was like, hey, let me throw some beats my way. And so I gave him some beats for a project he's doing. And then, and then it just kind of took off from there. I was like, that started buying the fucking equipment again, and you know how it goes, man. It's now I got the whole studio room, and you know, way too much equipment, and it's kind of taking over again.
Nice. That's good though, man.
Nice, man.
I say this about music, man. I tell everybody this, man. It never goes away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you get into music and you really get into it, and you really, if you spend at least 1 year of your life really trying to attack music from whatever angle, whatever aspect, producer, rapper, singer, whatever, it'll always be in you. Yeah. You will always
it will always be there.
You'll always be doing something in music, whether it's professionally or just as a hobby. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've taken years off too, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go record a song. Ain't nobody gonna hear it, but hey, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's fire still. You know, so
and I think it helps that being older. It's like I'm gonna be 41, and you know, like I'm a bitter old producer, and like so I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. So if I like it, I'm gonna put it out there. If no one listens, do it. no one listens to it. It's like, I'm gonna do this for the first time ever. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for this person's album. I'm not doing it because this person wants to hear it. I'm doing this because I want to do it, and it makes it a lot more freeing. And that's kind of why when I took that break, I was just burnt out. I was just like, that's.
And I talked to him yesterday about something. Sometimes you just got to step away. Like, even as a writer, I know that there's been times where I'm like, man, I really want to write, and I'm sitting down, I'm like, I don't got nothing.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get the most trash shit. Like when you try to force it. You try to force a beat like that shit is terrible. You go back and listen, like, what the hell was I thinking? Sometimes you just gotta walk away, man, and let it breathe. Let it simmer down for a little bit.
And it's kind of nice because the only person like right now I have a responsibility to with music is myself, so I can do that. Like I took all of December off and most of January because of the holidays and work was crazy and stuff like that. It's like I have the ability to be able to do that.
Dope.
So do you sell beats? Like, can people go?
Yeah, I have my what's it called, the beat. What's the website?
Is it BeatStars?
BeatStars, yeah. So I have a BeatStars up there. I don't push it or anything like that. But if anyone, like, I have people reaching out to me every once in a while.
People are watching this, man, or listening, and want to go check out some of your. I mean,
most
obviously,
definitely.
go check out on like. All the two beat tapes, I guess you would call them, that are out like everywhere, right? Because I've seen them on Apple Music, Spotify.
The 100 Days and the rapper beats I just put out. That's all on all the streaming platforms and Bandcamp. We also I did the sample pack, the sound pack with DJ Organic that we released on his late bloomer records, and that's actually going to be a series. I already started working on the second one.
Fire.
So we're trying to put those every couple of months, a new sample pack out for producers. I've kind of fallen in love with that, doing the sound design and stuff. That's been a lot of fun. And then the rapper beats series, just because I make beats all the time, but I don't work with anyone, so it's like I want to do something with them. That's what the whole rapper beats series is. Whereas the 100 Days, when I did the 100 Days, the album, it wasn't any of the beats that I put out for those 100 Days. This was what I learned. I'm going to put it towards this album. And it was more of an instrumental, actual songs. That 100 Days was actual project. And so for like the rapper beats, it's just the stuff that it's they're beats. If someone wants to freestyle over them, go for it. I just learned that yes, I'm a producer, but at heart I'm a beat maker. I make beats for rappers. That's what I'm good at. That's what I'm best at.
I heard that.
And if I don't have anyone to rap over them, I'm still gonna put that shit out.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Awesome.
So you got anything else coming up? You got anything you're working on? Anything you want to tell the people?
Well, I got the next rapper beats will come out. I'm trying to do that every month. I've pretty much already got that one done. I have another instrumental album that is kind of more laid back type vibe to it, lo-fi vibe. That's going to come out this month. It's all done. I just got to put it out there. I didn't want to put it with the rapper beats so soon. So that'll be coming out here pretty soon. It's just a little 5-track instrumental thing. And so that's what I got going on now. I got working with T Call. He's got some beats. He's got a project he's working on right now. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I got going on. I'm gonna start the Twitch thing again this year for making beats.
So that would definitely be tuned in, man.
And we can find that. You put Instagram maybe?
Yeah. So Instagram, I have my link tree on Instagram, so you can find the link on my Instagram, the RTC_Shogun. It's going to have all the links for the albums and sound pack and my Twitch page and stuff like that, and the Mindspit documentaries on there as well.
Fire.
So that's the best place to find everything for.
Nice.
Dope.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to sprinkle it down here.
Yeah.
It's going to be down here somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
That post-production magic.
This is magic right here. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, Shogun, thank you for coming through, bro.
Man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to everything you got going on in the future. Definitely gonna
Sorry I
be
couldn't go into too detail on some of those stories.
No, you good.
Can't call out names.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. Yeah.
You probably signed an NDA. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you again, man. And appreciate you coming, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space. Peace.